Can you hear
Hello,
me?
I can hear you. I had my thing on backwards.
Okay. So I didn't know for sure we are going to have one today, but I thought, yeah, why not just try it out?
Are you not getting the meeting announcements?
I did, but you
Didn't read
know,
it.
it gets it gets lost in the noise, so to speak.
Yeah, I understand. Well,
So,
basically I said it was up to you guys. You know.
okay.
Uh, um
Did you get a response from anybody?
no, no. I was just looking to see and nobody responded. So I don't know if that means yes or no, maybe.
Okay.
So we may be the only ones,
Okay.
or everybody may show up. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
So, what's the story with meeting locations? Or February something another, we're meeting in
Right. Mason.
Mason. Okay.
Mason. Um, and I did update the directions coming from 71 instead of 75.
Okay.
So hopefully it makes sense since I don't travel that way. I'm made a couple of guesses, but I
Well,
think it's right. I think it's right.
Google Maps is pretty good. So,
Yeah. Um, as it stands right now, I haven't booked any more meetings um anywhere. Uh, January was really the last um well, February 6th was really the last one that I booked for Midpoint
okay.
for the library in Westchester. But from what I could tell, it looked like from that point on, Westchester was going to be booked pretty frequently
Okay.
from other people.
Okay.
So that leaves us with either switching days again, going to a different library, or staying virtual 90%
100,
of the time.
yeah.
So,
Well, Midpoint's obviously, you know, got the market. It's a very nice facility. So, you know, that's not a surprise.
from what little bit I saw, because I went to Mason just to check it out, just to look, and from what little bit I saw, it's a very nice library too. I'm honestly surprised. You know, it's only 3-ish miles from Westchester.
Hmm.
I'm honestly surprised they're not as bit not that busy. I mean,
Well, maybe this business of them being an independent library that causes that difference.
yeah, they uh uh, they seem to cater more towards Mason than where Midpoint, you know, it's all over the place in Butler County. There's
Yeah.
5, 6 libraries plus book drop-offs and
Hmm.
reading rooms and other stuff that they do. So they are kind of everywhere.
Well, now, Mason, in terms of physical size,
Oh, it's way smaller, a lot smaller.
okay. All right.
Um, uh, there is. Uh, that's the one concern I have with them is their parking lot is even a lot smaller.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
Well, Midpoint has a huge parking lot.
right.
So,
Well, that's the concern. That's the biggest concern I have with Mason is there's not a whole lot of parking. So
Uh-huh.
we bring 8 more cars down there, or you know, 4 more cars down there, and we might be struggling to find a spot for a couple hours.
Okay.
But I think all that could be overcame. It's just it is what it is. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well, we'll see. I
yeah,
mean, it's an
that's
experiment, so we'll see.
that's pretty much what the 13th is. It's maybe we need to do it a couple of times to get a good sample, but
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much what the 13th is we're going to go see and you know, hopefully the Wi-Fi works the way the Wi-Fi is supposed to. Hopefully, you know, uh so that meeting room has a TV set in it, but she told me the librarian told me don't count on the TV because they might need it for something else. They do have a projector in that room that's always there. So,
Well, the TV's on a roll around cart or
yeah,
something in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's the TV is 40 inch maybe. I mean, it's not a huge TV. It's
Mm-hmm.
not small, but it's not huge. Um, but I said, "Oh, okay, you've got a TV. That's good. We could use that." And she said, "Yeah, don't count on that being there all the
Uh-huh.
time." I said, "Okay." She said, "But we do have the projector and it's always here." So,
Okay.
um and the projector has all the standard connectors, HDMI and all that stuff.
Was it
So,
mounted on the ceiling or
it is.
where?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's permanently mounted in that room then, and there's no.
Yeah. Now, it- I don't, I would much rather use the TV, but we work with what we've got. So,
Uh-huh. Well,
I mean,
those
you know,
ceiling mounted projectors work pretty well. That's what I had in my classrooms at
right,
San Jose City College. All the classrooms had a ceiling mounted projector.
right.
And the only problem with it was it turns out the bulb in the damn things is 99% of the cost.
Yeah.
So if the bulb went out, uh, well, given college budgets, it stayed burned out until the next budget cycle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but they were horrendously expensive. Not
I
difficult to change, but horrendously expensive.
I had a projector that I think Mike had found, and the bulb went out on it, and I was shocked at how expensive the bulb. I know why they threw the projector away. It was cheaper to buy a new projector than it was
Yeah,
to buy a bulb, and I was like, wow.
yeah, yeah. It was. I was amazed when I found out at school how expensive they were, and you know,
Yeah.
school budgets are, even college budgets are inflexible, I think
Well,
is the polite term.
see that was one thing when she said they had a projector. I kind of looked at it like, okay, wouldn't it have been cheaper just to buy a 40-inch TV or a 60-inch TV and stick up on the wall?
Yeah, well,
I mean, cost of the bulb alone would pay for half of that
yeah,
TV.
you don't know what their budget process is, so um,
And you don't really know who they were trying to set that room up for originally. I mean, I
Well,
have,
and budget committees sometimes are not well informed, so
well, I was going to say, I have a feeling that it's the Parker Hall, Parker something. I have a feeling, and there's a picture of whoever Parker is hanging in there. I have a feeling he donated money to to the library, and
oh, so this is kind of an endowed library then.
I have this feeling that yes, he is somebody that uh you know because she said don't look at the picture. That's a scary picture. I'm like okay, he's but yeah, I would imagine that um with being independent and whatever, they'll take donations where they can get donations, and
Of course,
so
of course.
and if I know there was a lady who owned a whole bunch of farmland over in Springboro, and she basically when she passed away, she left all that farmland to the city, but she wanted the city to use the farmland as parks.
Mm-hmm.
And they are some of the nicest parks you will find around here. But
Mm-hmm.
they didn't pay for the land, which it's got to be 400 acres of land.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. They
Problem
just
is you got maintenance costs.
yeah.
And the initial cost is not the whole story. Maintenance
Well,
costs can be pretty high.
she apparently left them a a bunch of money and everything to set up these parks, and she's that was what she wanted done with it. And I guess the city said, well, yeah, I mean, there's four. It's four plots of land, total of about 400 acres. So there's four different parks, and they're all interconnected to each other. And I mean, they're some of the nicest parks you'll find. They've got soccer and softball parks, and they've got a dog walking park, which is on the smaller piece of land that was given to them. They got bike trails. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they've got uh, off road bike trails, which I don't know if they were running low on money or if that was just part of the plan to make off road bike trails, but it's a picnic area that overlooks like this wider area, and it it's unfinished, and it says it's a bike path for
Hmm.
off road, and I'm like that's kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, they are some of the nicest parks that are around here. And they take care of them. I guess they've been budgeted for like the next 7 or 8 years
Well, that's good.
for stuff. So,
That's good.
and apparently after they were there, the people of Springboro passed a resolution or something to continue to fund those
Oh,
parks.
okay.
So I guess it's one of those situations if you build it, you'll get money eventually.
Yeah.
If you make it really, really nice, the people will actually use it and support it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, of course, it's a public park. I live in Franklin, city over, so I go over there all the time and just sit and read a book or whatever. Nobody ever says, "Hey, you're from Franklin, go away."
Okay.
It, but they're really nice. But I suspect, or I have a feeling that there was some money donated to this library, maybe to make a boardroom or a meeting room. Maybe maybe that's why he got his name on this room. But
Okay. But you're saying that there's not a lot of parking lot.
no, no. Um, I did only go in like the main entrance, and I think there's something maybe behind the building, but you would have to walk around because I didn't see. I only saw one entrance to the place. So,
Okay.
uh,
Well,
like I said, it you know we're going to see if this is going to work, and if it works, maybe we've found a new place, and
okay.
if it doesn't work, we'll continue
Keep
doing what
looking.
we're doing.
Okay. All
But,
right. Well, that's good.
yeah, I mean, 2020 was just horrible for the group. We lost a lot of people, and I'm doing my best to keep to keep it going. So, uh,
Well,
I
have you heard anything about Jim?
me and Vicente went and saw him, but he didn't really say a whole lot. Uh, I really haven't heard much from him. Um, I don't really know what's going on with Jim. I figure when Jim's ready, he will reach out to us again.
Yeah, well, I know
Because that was kind of
he
that
had some pretty serious health problems.
yeah. Yeah. And I haven't I haven't heard. I would hope that Gail would at least tell me if something had happened to him, but
Hmm.
so I haven't or I it, somebody would tell me, but the impression that I got was he just kind of wanted to be left alone for a while, and
Hmm.
when he's ready, he'll show back up.
Okay. Well, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know,
I think I think 2020 took a toll on Jim, and
oh yeah.
trying to fight uh stroke and COVID and all that at the same time, and then he was running into the same issues I run into with booking the rooms, and I just don't think he wanted to deal with all that anymore.
Well, he probably didn't have the energy. So, you know,
Yeah.
well, it's too bad, but all of us are mortal.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so
and we all get to that point where we just want to be left alone for a while.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I 20 years ago, I basically had to be moving up and moving and doing things all the time. Now anymore, you know, I have days when I just sit on my backside and enjoy being able to do nothing. So, or I read a lot,
yeah,
and I always have, but I notice that I read a lot more now than I did.
yeah. Well, I mean, I when I was picking up the kid from school every day, I would sit in the car and read a lot while I
Mm-hmm.
was just sitting there waiting for her. But, you know, I I find stuff to do, like um build robots or 3D print
Yeah,
stuff or whatever. So I got stuff to occupy me other than other stuff. So
yeah. So, so uh, Do you get to see your granddaughter frequently these days, or not so frequently?
Not as much as we want, but you know, we she was with us for like right at a year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 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 a long, complicated. Her mommy wasn't in the picture for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she wanted was her mommy.
Yeah.
So her mommy's back, and we're just kind of letting her, you know, spend the time with her mommy
Well, that's good.
because there's other things that may or may not happen that we have a feeling within the next 6 months she'll be back over here, but because there's things going on that I really don't want to say on the internet.
Okay. Well, hopefully she's faring well. Uh, she seemed to be a happy little kid.
Oh, she we saw her Christmas Eve, spent a few hours with her, and she's happy as a pig. I mean,
Okay. Well,
she
that's good.
she is just a bubbly little kid that you know she understands some of the stuff that's going on, but she doesn't particularly care because her mommy's there. So,
Okay. Well, that's good.
that does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
That's pretty much what she has wanted. She never really understood why her mommy wasn't around when other kids have mommies. So,
Mm-hmm.
so we're just waiting. We're just going to let what happens happen. And
Yeah.
but we did tell her, and we told her right in front of her mom and dad. We like, you need to bring her over to the house. She needs to come and see us. I mean, it's been a
Mm-hmm.
while.
Mm-hmm.
So get up off your butts and bring her over to the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're watching somebody, and before we had her, because of all of everything, we would watch her when her mommy wasn't around. We would watch her. We would go and get her from school. We would take her to school. So it's not exactly like we weren't around or anything. It's
Yeah.
it's it's more like, oh, mommy's back and I don't want anything to do with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
which
Okay.
which isn't true. She kept running over and hugging us. I missed you. I missed you. Well, you need to get your mommy and daddy to bring you over here.
Uh-huh.
You know, I, it's not real hard to say, Ma, take me to see Papal.
Yeah.
I want to play video games with Papal. But that's you know, like I said, I think within the next 6 months or so, we may end up with her on a more semi-permanent basis again anyway.
Okay.
So we'll just see what happens, and maybe in 6 months might be able to actually say what's going on.
Yeah.
Not that not that I fully know either. But
Okay.
but the
Now does
situation should be resolved within that amount of time, I would think.
now does she have siblings?
Yes, she does. They're not ours. Um, that's part of this whole big
Okay. Well, no, I
her.
don't want to pry. I was just wondering if she has
Uh, it,
siblings.
it sh- she has a brother. She's the oldest. Her brother is 6 months younger, 9 months younger. He's just a hair younger than she is.
Okay.
Um, she has a younger sister and a little baby brother, which um it's got to be going on a year and a half now. So
Hmm.
he's definitely the youngest. Um, that was part of what was going on when her mommy wasn't around. She was doing stuff that she shouldn't be doing
Hmm.
and making brothers and sisters.
So she has three siblings.
I think there's I think there's four kids altogether, but
Okay.
but Thea's the only one that's actually our grandkid. So
Oh, okay.
so she's got other baby daddies.
Okay.
Um
Various sperm donors, so to speak.
the thing is she keeps up with all of them and she's actually paying attention to all her kids. So which is something that could not have been said, you know, even even a year ago. I mean,
Hmm.
it, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, something clicked and turned around in Kaylee's brain. So
So, okay, well, so the only one that you would end up caring for is the one you've
Thea,
been. Okay.
yeah. Um, so I you remember well, it's got to be a year when uh I had Steve start the meeting kind of impromptu and I
Yeah.
had to go to the hospital because they were in a car wreck and that's pretty much when we ended up keeping Thea. Yeah, the baby was there. Um and we definitely would have taken the baby too, but we didn't have a baby seat. We didn't have a car seat. We didn't have any of that. But just to get it out of the situation that was there, we would have watched it until the actual guardian could have come to get it. So does
Well,
that make sense?
now were all of them in the
No,
car wreck?
no, no, no. It was just Thea and the baby
Okay. And the mother.
and the mother and some random.
Was anybody seriously injured?
No, it was more of a shaking up kind of thing.
Okay.
Um, that's not really why we ended up with Thea. Uh, like there's a lot of history, but basically Kaylee had some warrants out, and so when she ran from the accident, the cops really kind of got interested, of course, and
Oh, wow.
and then they
Okay.
realized, oh wait, she's got warrants. You're not getting the kids back. So that's why we ended up with, Thea for a while. CPS got involved and all that, which, like I said, the baby was not is not ours, and but like I said, to get it out of the situation, if we would have had the equipment to do it, we would have taken it for the night or whatever, just to just waiting for the actual caregiver of that baby to come because believe it or not, the caregiver for that baby, for some reason, lives about an hour away. So when they found out that everybody was in a wreck, they hadn't actually got in their car to come up here because they just figure, okay, they will let us know. So everybody was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then finally somebody said, "Hey, what about the baby?" And they went, "We need to call them, and they need to come and get the baby." So it was like a 2.5 hours later, something like that, before the person could come and get the baby. And of course, Edwin, because the car was wrecked, Edwin was on his motorcycle. He can't take the baby on a
Yeah,
motorcycle.
yeah.
Uh, it was just a mess. It was like, well, we'll take it if you can give us a car seat to put it in. At least we'll be at home and we can wait for the other lady to come and get it. Oh no, we don't have a car seat. Okay.
So the baby was not in a car seat when the accident occurred?
The car got towed. The baby was in a car seat, but the car got towed. And of course, this is late at night. The impound yard isn't really open, so you can't really
Oh,
go
so
in.
the seat was in the towed car. Oh
Of
man.
course it was. I mean, it, it, the car was damaged and probably should have been towed. But if they would have made some choices, they could have stayed with the car and gotten their stuff out. But she decided that since she was only a block away from the house, she would just leave the car and walk with the baby and Thea and everybody home. It's like
Hmm.
that's
So sounds like it was a judgment problem there.
well, that's been like I said, something clicked within her recently, within the last year or so, and her judgment has actually improved. So,
Okay.
um, I don't know if it was the wreck. I don't know what it was, but something did. Edwin now is the one that seems like he's making stupid decisions. Kaylee seems like she's making wise decisions.
Okay. Well,
It's completely opposite, but whatever. I mean,
so at any rate, so what projects you've been working on?
well, I did actually work on getting the thing to do a joke,
This
but
is the large language model.
yes, but I am not overly happy with it. Um,
So it's now doing jokes.
Sorta. It
How do you
it
make it do that?
it's not talking yet. I haven't turned on the text to speech yet, but well, So you can type in something, you know, some question or whatever. Um, and I just said I typed. If you hit a button, typed, tell me a joke about something.
Okay.
There's 100 random words that it could choose for the something.
Okay.
Some of the jokes get very repetitive, not because of the word, because this language model, I don't really think it understands what a joke is.
Oh, okay.
So some of the prompts will list the same kind of joke with a slightly different word.
Okay.
All right. So I just hit the button. It says,
Mm-hmm.
tell me a joke about interesting. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. Okay, that sounds like a joke. I don't know if that's interesting, but it sounds like a joke.
Okay.
So I hit the button again. Basically, the prompt says, tell me a joke about sentence. Why did the statist, statistician go to jail? Because he made up a lot of statistics. That's not really a joke, right? I mean,
Mm,
it
okay.
used the same word twice.
Okay.
Tell me a joke about smooth. Why did the smooth thing break up with the party? Because it had too many parties. It's not really a joke.
Yeah.
I don't really think it understands the small nuances of
Jokes.
jokes.
Okay.
Um, why did the materialist person go to therapy? Because they were feeling the weight of their possessions. Now, see, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's a joke.
That's
Yeah.
kind of funny. Why did the ball break up with the tree? Because it was tired of being the center of attention. I,
Okay.
yeah.
That's stretching a point.
Why did the student refuse to take the test? Because he had an excuse. Eh, eh.
Okay. But it sounds to me like all the jokes are the same sentence structure. It's
Yes.
a why did
Yes.
followed by response.
Every great once in a while you'll see it do something slightly different, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's all why did or um I even have asked it to tell me a knock knock joke, which, should be knock knock, who's there?
Yeah.
And it would be, why did somebody knock on the door? That is not a knock knock joke.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't really think it I don't really think it understands quite the nuance of what a joke is.
Yeah.
Um, Certainly not like how Chat GPT can just make random jokes or Google Gemini can just make random jokes up that that are actually, I would say, funny-ish. They're not
Yeah.
great, but they're better than this. So I've been playing around with that, and I cannot get it to understand what I actually want. I mean,
Okay.
every now and then it will put something that is actually funny. So
Mm-hmm.
And that's the my new paper from M5 Stack.
Okay.
That's an e-ink display with a ESP32 S3 in it and a whole bunch of stuff. Touchscreen, um, what is it 960 by 540 display. It's the same display that's in the old paper. That's the old one that does the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Different processor, different sensors are on board. Um, the old one has the Grove ports external to it. This one has Grove ports, but they're under a thing that you've got to cut out. Um, I'm not real sure why they did that because that's one of those things. And then this one will take an external battery, so it's got a battery on board, but it also has an external connector for a battery.
Uh-huh. Well, how big a batteries? I mean, what's the milliamp hours of the battery?
1800 is what it says.
Okay.
This also uses a different driver. This is this is directly driving the screen. This one here actually has a driver chip to drive the screen. Um, so it uses a slightly different library, and that was the one thing that they did a great job on this. They really did. Their documentation is horrible. It took me forever to actually figure out what I needed to do to actually get something to, to display properly on this. And I eventually found it buried deep inside of a wiki page that should have been in their documentation page. So
Okay.
it it's basically adding one line to uh the GFX library, and the GFX library just tells the uh display driver library what to do. And I'm like, oh, well, that's way too simple. That should have been one little word, one little sentence in the documentation.
Uh-huh.
Add this to your GFX. But so they're they're this is the original. It's a little tiny bit shorter.
It's
Um,
also but the shorter one was fatter.
it's fatter. It's a lot fatter, and it doesn't have any. This here is like a lanyard hook thing,
Yeah.
so you could wear it as an e-paper badge.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't have any way to do that easily. You'd I guess you could put it in a silicone sleeve or something and do it, but um, they definitely took some suggestions from people and improved this version quite a bit. Um, And that, the slimness of this may be why the grow port is hidden. I don't know. I That's the one thing that kind of, when I looked at it, I was kind of like, huh, there's no growth port. Why isn't there a growth port? So the original has a power button and a power off button, two separate buttons. This one just uses one button, but that's fine. I, I mean,
Is it relatively even easy to open the case?
looks like three screws, four screws. I haven't taken it apart.
Okay.
I'm not sure I want to.
Okay.
Um, Vicente.
Oh, Vicente's coming in.
Vicente's here.
Oh, there he is. Uh,
Maybe.
do we have video?
Magnets are pretty good in this thing.
Well, there's got magnets inside the case.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Hey, Vicente, how you doing?
Hello, do you hear me?
I could hear you.
Yeah,
Yes.
great.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you also.
You're a little bit out of focus.
Something happened with the. Okay.
Oh, there you go. You're now in focus.
The microphone is in the camera, and the camera was unplugged, so I didn't have no image and no audio. How is everything? I missed the last two meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, happened two events that I didn't plan. My
Uh,
my son moves last week, so I have to bring my car and move a lot of stuff.
oh.
You moved?
Huh?
You moved?
My son was living in close to UC in Cincinnati, and he moves to Loveland, close to Loveland.
Okay.
So because his contract finished for the apartment as a student, now he's working at Procter and Gamble. But he graduates in April, but the contract was until December, so he stayed there until December. So you are in California, Art.
How you doing?
Great, everything fine. Are you here in Ohio or California?
I'm in California.
California.
Not sure when I'm going to be back, but I think I'm hoping by February we'll be back there. We had some medical issues to sort out, and I think we've got
Will
those.
be cold here on February.
It,
The
it
weather
might
will
be.
be cold.
Yeah.
Yep. So your daughter's at Stanford?
Yes. She's now here visiting, but she will be back in January 5 or something. 5th.
Oh, so the fall semester's over?
Yes, they have trimesters, yeah, 3 months each lapse.
Oh, so they have a trimester system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she start in January, and
So that's her, what, second or third trimester? Or
no, she is, yeah, now is in the second year, second trimester. Will start
okay.
the second trimester. But
Okay.
she then the next trimester will be at Monterrey. in the
at
aquarium.
Monterey.
Yeah. Stanford has a research facility close to the aquarium.
Hmm.
So she will be
So
there
the
for
so
3 months.
this is not Santa Cruz. This is
No, to the south, Monterey. Actually,
okay.
the the downtown Monterey is close to the
Okay.
aquarium, you know.
Yeah.
They have the Canary Street, and there is everything. Everything is close.
So she's going to be there for the whole
Trimester,
semester?
the second trimester of the year, but actually the third trimester of the second year.
Okay.
And,
So
and
she declared a major yet?
declare what?
A major.
She is trying to decide. She will be in Australia the next trimester after Monterrey.
To be in
She's
Australia?
thinking she's thinking and to become a veterinarian, specialized in marine biology.
Okay.
My
Her idea.
one of my nieces wanted to become a marine biologist, and
Okay.
uh, she ended up um she joined the Navy for marine biology.
Okay. Great.
Um, Unfortunately, it was during COVID, and she got COVID like 4 times while she was
Ah,
there, and they
you
and
told
they
us. Yeah.
kicked her out. So
Yeah.
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
so but that is always an option apparently if you want to do something like that. You could join the Navy or join the military to get your education dirt cheap. I don't know if you noticed while I was sitting there or while Vicente was talking,
You change the background.
a little. That
Yeah.
that slid down the pole. That's too
What?
heavy.
What?
Even though it's got magnets in it, it's too heavy. It
Okay.
slides down the thing. That that one,
Wow.
the magnets are really, really strong. So it
It moved
hasn't
fast, right?
it hasn't moved once. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's working on battery. How long?
I don't know. I haven't let it die. So
Okay. Nice.
this is the new paper, the new e-paper from M5.
Yeah. Are they planning to have a color e-paper?
I don't know.
Maybe in the future, because it's nice to read the comics,
Hmm.
in the nice.
There's only there's only one picture loaded up and it's resizing on the fly, so
Okay.
it's rescaling the picture on the fly.
Okay. You are zooming in different areas.
Uh-huh.
Well,
But
is random what are
no,
you doing?
no,
No, it's
no, it's doing the same thing over and over and over again. But
nice.
I was telling Art,
Is touch screen?
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I was telling Art their documentation for this is horrible.
Oh, that's a problem. You lose
It's
a lot of time trying to do stuff.
I finally found what I was missing in a wiki page buried. It wasn't even a documentation page. It was
But
just
from M5 or another guy? M5?
honestly, I think it was another person. I think it was one
Person.
of the
Okay.
developers
Okay.
that had a wiki of this thing. But all they needed to do was add one line. I mean, I read this one little sentence in on this wiki and I went, "Oh crap.
Just a second.
That's what I've been."
Have a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
We're going to mute
hello.
you. We're going to mute you. There you go. But uh are you talking to us?
I don't
No.
think he knows
I
he's
know.
muted.
I don't think he I think he's left. Okay. Uh I don't think that that looks all that bad. That looks
No, it looks nice.
but because the two this drives me a little crazy too because the two use different um libraries and different methods to actually display. They're not compatible with each other. I can't just take the code that's running on this and put it on this without doing some work to
Hmm.
uh, that seems like such a and it seems like such a flaw. It just seems like if you're going to have the next evolution, it should be at least backward compatible with the first evolution, you know. But that may just be me thinking.
So what's this about a colored color e-ink?
Oh, the color paper,
Yeah,
the color displays for the ebooks. Um, oh, I need to charge this. Vicente, he was he was asking how long it would take to take a color panel and stick in one of these for consumers. And my guess would be the color displays would need to get a whole lot cheaper because the color displays are still expensive. But they do real good for comic books.
now are those displays the same e-ink process that the Kindle uses?
Black and white.
I don't know if there's a color Kindle. I don't.
Um, it's my understanding that there's only a couple of different ways that e-ink displays work, the black and white ones. So uh, the likelihood that there's it's like an old way, and then there's the newer way. The likelihood that it would be using an old display technology would probably be very slim since the
Mm-hmm.
Kindles are pretty new. I've got
Mm-hmm.
I've got you muted, Vicente. So, but from what I understand, these all
He
work.
needs to be unmuted, Leroy.
Oh, he's the one that has to unmute himself. I could ask him to unmute.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, there you
Hello.
are.
Sorry, I was taking a phone call from my son in England.
No, it's all right.
He will be visiting us in January. So what's going on?
Well, we were talking, about
E-inks.
the color e-ink,
Okay.
and the color e panels are still expensive, so I doubt
You don't have the backlight on in the paper, right?
I don't have the backlight. No, I just turned it off.
Okay.
Um, so I doubt that they make it over into these low cost versions just yet because that was only $60.
Well,
And that's most of that's probably still the e panel. The the panel is probably the
it
bulk of
looks
that.
really nice. What's the resolution of the e-panel? You
Nine
remember?
960 by 540 for that
Okay.
one. It's the same it's the same panel that they're using in the old version, but um the old version has a driver chip.
Okay.
So it's not directly driven. This one is using an S3, an ESP32 S3, and
Okay,
is
right. Okay.
directly driven.
And it's cheaper or same price?
It's about what was it? About $10 cheaper.
Okay.
Um,
Well, the problem is that you have the ESP32 PC, right? Working in the display. It
right.
depends on what you want to do.
Well,
Well, no, actually, the display is steady, right? You write something and forget
right,
about it, or
right. You only it only it you and this display you can section off a little section of it and just refresh that little
just the
section.
section.
Um, which is nice because then you don't have to update the whole
Yeah, yeah.
entire thing.
So you can have a thermometer and just change the numbers in a small place,
Right, right.
small area.
And that's kind of what this is doing when it makes a real small picture. It's just updating that little section of picture.
Yeah.
Um, this one it's the same panel, but I think it's a little harder to make it actually do the sectioning it off.
Yeah, you have less control.
Yeah. So they made a lot of improvements from this to this, but um, they
Well,
also made a couple of weird decisions, like the grow ports are external. You can actually see them. They're internal. I have to cut off part of the back to get to them,
okay. Mm,
which is weird. I
yeah.
I don't know why they did that. Uh, they put a little lanyard bar on there so you can
Uh-huh.
wear it, which is nice. They made it a lot thinner.
Oh, yes.
It's quite a bit thinner. It's
Hmm.
nowhere
Yeah.
near as heavy. I mean, you can physically feel just how heavy
It's
this one
lighter.
is. Um, so they made a lot of improvements, but they also
They have a small one, e-paper,
yeah.
smaller. You also have it. Oh yeah, the size is wow.
Oh, it's
Okay.
tiny.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 200 by
Uh,
200, I think.
okay.
So so it's
And
tiny.
is how much is this? Uh,
Uh, this one I think was 20. ish.
Is one ESP32,
It's a 32, yeah.
but C3, C6? What version?
Oh, it's the original.
S1, S2?
It's a Pico, an ESP32 Pico D4.
Pico. Okay, okay.
It's the original or
Yeah, yeah.
close to the original.
It's the cheapest one, I think.
Yeah, I think at the time it was the cheapest one. And I don't see it on there. There it is. It's out of stock. It's $30 for that sucker. $30. Spend another $30 and get that one.
Yeah.
This is pretty nice. I haven't really found any real reason to use it.
You can wear this one in your wrist. You have an adapter for it, or
Yeah, it's got the Lego holes in it
okay.
so you can plug it into Lego. I haven't really found a good use for this. I think when I bought it, I wanted to use it on for Meshtastic, and I just never really did. There were other things that were better. It lives up there, but yeah. So because this one's directly driven, it uses us the EPDIY library for your e-ink displays,
Okay.
and that's was the thing that hung me up on this for so long. I every time I would load a SketchUp, I could not get the display to work, and it just I finally found that blog, and it was like, oh crap, it's one extra line, it's one extra piece of code, and I'm sitting there banging my head against the wall, going, why isn't this working? Why isn't it doing what it's supposed to be doing? But because it's two different libraries, they're not really compatible with each other. So I can't just take
Um,
the sketch that's running here and put it over here. I got to make the changes to make the two work together.
Too bad.
Now, that was kind of the disappointment of all this because I was kind of like, "Oh, this is nice. I really like this one. Let's put my temperature thing over here because this one's the battery is starting to go. It's starting to I'm charging it a lot more than I used to. Like it says it's at 39% right now. It's a smaller battery. Every so I really just kind of wanted to move stuff around, do stuff. Instead, we get Batman. I'm Batman.
Um,
I'm Batman. Beware, criminals. I'm Batman.
I show you this, right? The key, uh,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
the key.
yeah.
This is a Lego. You can see it.
The Lego keychain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm. 6 bucks.
Did you find that at the Lego store
Yeah, in the mall.
in the
I
mall? Yeah.
found. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I showed these off last week. I gotta get to them. I think you've seen one because I sent you a picture of one.
Wow. You did this with the 3D printer?
With the 3D printer.
Wow. Nice. It's big.
That I was experimenting with the 3D printer. It's hard to see it, but the
Yeah,
texture
I
is
see.
very,
Yes.
very smooth.
Yeah.
This was
I
the first
think
one.
you can use acetone in a container, a closed container with acetone, just a small glass with acetone, just the vapor
Okay.
will soften the PLA a lot. There is YouTube videos about that, how to make disappear all the lines of
All
the
the
printing.
lines.
Yeah.
This 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 was done with the printer itself. It retracted all the filament back, and I'm pretty sure it just went over really, really slow with a really hot with the really hot
Looks
end and
fantastic.
just went
Yes.
over it.
Looks fantastic.
Yeah, it that added 2 hours to the print though.
Wow.
Yeah,
What brand is the printer?
it's that Anycubic Cobra 3.
NQ.
Um, this is the print without doing the smoothing, and you get to see all the lines and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's not bad. It's not bad, but this is very impressive. This is
You can use a filament that is flexible and glue something in a t-shirt or something. A full,
uh,
you know,
maybe. I don't know. Um,
is ninja
Ninja
something.
Flex, Ninja
Yeah,
Flex.
Ninja Flex. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I before I bought the before I bought that Anycubic, I was watching a lot of videos, and it'll do nylon and it'll do something else, TPU and something else. It, but everybody who has done it says you can really only print a single color with that,
Mhm.
and um, it really you can't use the multi-color box with it because it's too flexible. The box
Okay.
can't handle.
Yeah. Yeah. When you feed using a tube, there is a problem with the Ninja Flex.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I read about that. But
So the my old printer, um, which is slow by any stretch of the imagination, it doesn't have the have that problem, and I can do two color with it. So if I wanted to do TPU or something in two different colors, I could, but I would give up the speed for the convenience
yeah,
of doing it.
yeah.
So so I've kept, I kept the old printer because it's got a couple of features that the new printer
Doesn't have.
doesn't
Yes.
have, or the new printer does have, but it's a whole lot less convenient. So I really like the new printer though. I printed the stand on the old printer.
And the slicer is from any cube or is
No, because I'm using Linux, I'm
uh,
using Orca slicer for it.
only for Linux?
Yeah, no, it'll work with other,
Okay, but the others doesn't work with Linux.
right.
The
The any cubic software doesn't work with Linux.
okay,
Um, and I'm using a beta version of the Anycubic or the Orca slicer because the production version that actually supports the printer
mhm,
has the settings 100% backwards. They're the X and Y are flipped.
okay.
The
Strange.
oh, it's horrible. But the profile that Anycubic provided for
Maybe
Orca,
you need to change the connectors in the
no, no,
in the
no,
controller. No,
no, no, no. It's what me and Steve think is the basic problem is where they have the 0, 0 point at on that particular printer. 0, 0 is the lower right hand corner, but it looks
okay,
like they have it at the upper left hand
okay.
corner, and that's where the basic problem seems to come in. So they've
Everything
got
will be inverted.
it's flipped, yeah. Um, but the beta version, the version just before they added the Cobra 3, there's a profile that Anycubic has on their wiki page, and it works perfect. So I'm just sticking with what works. That's what kind of I kind of went, well, shouldn't they have just taken the profile and integrated it into the next version? But no, that's not what they did. They had to come up with their own thing.
But maybe somebody solved the problem. It's you need to change the configuration
Well,
of the file or something.
the unfortunate part was I tried the updated version, which was fine, but it erased the old profile.
Mm.
And even after I put the old profile, tried to put the old profile back, the new profile kept showing up, and I'm like, this is not going to work. So so I did what any normal person would do, and I put the beta copy back on, erased all the directories, and started over again.
Wait until then fix it. Yeah.
So, but I printed something for Patty the other day that the old printer said was going to take 4.5 hours, and the Anycubic it took an hour and 30 minutes, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So the new printer is very, very good and very, very fast. I only want to use the old printer when there's filament that this printer really just doesn't have handle well. So like I printed the little stands, you know,
Well, yeah.
it's awesome.
They looks perfectly
Yeah.
perfect. What about the noise of the new one? The same,
It's it's actually pretty quiet. Um I actually wanted to make a little bit of noise so I could, kind of hear, if there's a problem or something, but it's so quiet that,
but the problem is not the noise. The problem is that you have it for hours running. So becomes a little annoying.
well,
You have to stay in
the
the same room for
yeah,
hours.
yeah. The old printer, I guess I just kind of drowned the actual print noise out, but it would play a little tune at the end. It would play a tune at the beginning and it would play a tune at the end. And the new printer doesn't do that. And I wish it did because
to know when
I
to,
just kind of it's off doing its thing and
yeah.
it would be
It
nice if it told me.
remains you that something is ready,
Yeah.
and
It,
you go
it,
and change and do whatever you want.
yeah, it'd be nice if it would go doot doot
Yeah.
doot doot. I'm done. Hey fool, come and get me. But um it's it's pretty quiet. I mean, I have heard it when it was doing that, I didn't hear it at all. I mean, it was moving so slow that, but I have heard it a few times when it,
This is the Tim Burton logo, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. Batman 89. Um, I, when it laid when it laid the base down, in the oval, I heard it then. So, it made that weird oval sound that 3D printers make. But for the most part, it's quiet. I rarely know that it's doing anything at all. And then I'll look up and it'll be done and I'm like, you didn't even tell me you were done. But maybe I've just gotten spoiled by the other printer playing a sound. I mean, all my other printers never played a sound either, so
How, I'm thinking how can you do something with an Arduino or something to check that
um
it finished.
I don't I know they sell a camera for it. Uh so maybe I could just watch. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, you can put a microphone close to the a motor, and when there is a 1 minute silent, you create a tone with
uh,
Arduino or something. Beep,
beep.
the thing stop. Okay.
Well, see, the thing that gets me is it plays a little startup music when you first turn it on. So it's got a built-in speaker. When you first turn the printer on, it plays a little
So
startup
it
music.
has the hardware. Okay.
Yeah. It shouldn't be hard for the firmware to go when I'm done, play a song. But they didn't. I guess they just didn't think that far ahead. Um, it it wants to be connected online and it gets firmware. It check every time you turn it on, it'll check for new firmware and it'll update its firmware, which so far all the firmware has been improvements.
Okay. But sometimes you want to turn off this option. Don't
It
ask me. Don't do anything until I want to check.
it the three times that I've gotten new firmware for it, it has always said, "Do you want to update?" So it it doesn't just automatically update. It does ask you if you want to update. But I guess, you know, I've had plenty of printers where I don't even think about the firmware. I mean, they are it is what it is, and even if there's a new version, I would never know. So, but they had it's a relatively new printer, and they had a couple of small issues that the firmware fixed. Now they're making a bigger model of it. Same printer, bigger print bed. It's going to cost twice as much. It's not twice as big, but it's going to cost money. But, and I have been able to print some fairly large prints off of that Anycubic.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the original size. So, and I think everybody's seeing the big benchies.
Mm-hmm.
So, printing a big benchy in the same amount of time that some of the other printers print a small benchy.
Did you see the real size benchy? The guy with in the lake with the benchy.
Yep. I've seen a couple of them now. More people are building big benchies.
Yeah.
Really big benchies. That's that Anycubic is one of the first printers that, because it's faster, a lot faster, I have actually felt comfortable in printing really large prints because,
Right. Yeah.
that
How
took,
uh, how long
well,
is
it's still like a 4 hour print, but you know, that was like a 3 hour print. So,
right.
I mean, in the same amount of time, I'm printing something that's 4 times as big.
You are doing a lot of work with the 3D printer, a lot.
I'm just playing around. I'm wasting a lot of filament is what I'm doing. I told Patty, Patty had me print her a pencil cup, and I told her, I've bought the 3D printer originally to make robot parts.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember the last time I actually made a robot part.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I'm making toys for kids, and I'm making Batman signs and spaceships. I can't remember when I
Yeah,
actually did something useful.
maybe useful to make small brackets to fix motors and wheels and I don't know,
Yeah,
sensors.
yeah. I need to get some ABS. I should have bought some ABS when I was down at Micro Center so I could make something actual uh useful. You know, okay. Like I told Patty, I can't remember the last time I actually made a robot with the 3D printer. That was the whole reason to have the 3D printer.
I imagine to use like wood rods with 3D printed connectors, to assemble a robot, a big robot, just using the 3D printer parts to connect wooden or aluminum extrusions,
Yeah,
may be useful. for that.
I don't have any sitting with me. I had made because a lot of the M5 stack stuff uses Lego connectors, so I had printed a bunch of weird weird Lego parts that were different shapes or the wrong shape
Yeah,
that to make you know weird angles for the
yeah,
cameras or
yeah.
whatever. So it's
How,
useful.
how good is the connection with the Lego things?
It's I had found something on Thingiverse that apparently was sponsored by Lego,
Okay.
and you could customize it to do stuff,
Mhm.
and it was really good. Some of the stuff that people have made, um, most of it's pretty good. Um, but I have had a couple of them that have printed a little bit small, or a couple of them that have printed a little bit too
Okay,
big.
okay,
So
to make it fit.
yeah. So, but the one I think the one that I really liked was sponsored by Lego. I think it was an actual real thing that,
Interesting.
and it's
I,
one of
I
the
think I think that in the future we will have 3D printers that produce absolutely perfect parts, you know. So Lego maybe need to change the strategy because you almost can't do anything.
hmm
Maybe they sell the the 3D files. I don't know.
well, I mean, I kind of like the idea that if you need like a one-off custom part or a couple of them,
Mhm,
you can just sit there with the Lego designer and design it and
mhm.
print it out. So I don't think Lego is going to be losing money anytime soon. They make
No,
all their
they
kits are
they
way too
have
expensive.
they have all kind of business. You know, they are associated with Disney to produce movies, theme parks around the world,
Video games.
uh, any kind of merchandise with Lego things, clothes, everything, toys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be hurting anytime soon. And I think, when they opened up um and kind of open sourced the designs, people
mhm.
started really making better, more bigger things. I mean, it kind of improved the ecosystem, you know. So you can find like
Yeah. And then it's like they sell paint, you know, and you are buying like pictures, so you can buy a set to do
mhm,
instead of a painting to do a space ship or whatever, you know, all kind of kits. They sell all kind of things.
yeah,
It's not a matter of the block itself. It's the concept of the full box to reproduce something,
yep, yep.
buildings,
Well, and then they've got all the licensed
cars,
stuff.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got, Back to the Future and the Atari,
Mhm.
making an Atari console. Uh, So
They have everything. Batman,
Batman,
Star Wars. Uh,
yeah, and they're getting it from Marvel on one side
Barbie,
and
everything.
and
Barbie stuff.
DC on the other
They do
side.
everything.
Yeah, they're not.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
You have everything.
they're not. They're not picky.
Harry
Uh,
Potter, right?
They're not picky as long as they can make money. They they will.
Wow, they do everything.
Uh, yeah, I don't see them hurting anytime soon.
Okay, nice. I am designing a programmer for a very old microcontroller, the 8748 from Intel. Was the microcontroller used in the keyboards of the IBM PC. It's a 40 pins microcontroller, but you need a lot of voltages to program it. It's very complex, the algorithm. So I trying to make all the voltages. I'm still working on it. I have this is my progress.
Okay.
I am producing all the voltages here. I made the PCB. It's full of DC-DC converters and transistors to control the voltages.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using a 80 mega chip.
So,
This is the serial connector and USB power. This is the capacitor to reset the chip to program it.
okay.
This is the MOSFET to control all the power. This MOSFET control all the power to this board. So I can turn on and off all the voltages. So you can turn off all the pins of the socket, put the new microcontroller, and program it. Still experimenting with stuff.
Okay.
It's very picky. You need to produce 21 volts, but with a specific slew rate. So you need to go fast, but no too much fast. If not, it doesn't work. It's very picky, everything on it. So I working in. This is my my schematics
Okay.
to control all the voltages. This thing doesn't. Okay, there is it. See.
Is that like an old prom or an EEPROM?
It uses an EEPROM, a window
Yeah.
EEPROM, but it's integrated in the microcontroller.
Okay.
It's a 40 pins.
Yeah.
Uh,
I those
it's a ceramic package with a window in the top, like a EEPROM.
yeah.
Like EEPROM.
I always thought that the weird voltages that you needed for those were to control the light, the UV or whatever to
Yeah,
erase
this
it.
is for erasing the chip. Yeah. But you can find this 87 8748 Intel in eBay. Let me show you share the screen.
I haven't turned that on.
You need to turn on the.
I need to turn that on. Okay, you should be able to.
Okay. Look, this is the. You
Okay.
see,
Yeah.
this is the 8748 manual controller. They have the version 8048 that is without the window and it's plastic chip, but you only write once the code. This is a very old one with golden
Yeah.
windows and whatever.
There be gold in them there chips.
Yeah, but it's just this is okay, this one is to be programmed once. It's the same one, P8748, but P means plastic, and you don't have the capability of erase the chip, you know?
So you use the EEPROM to debug all your code and program all your chips,
But this is
all your P chips.
yeah, but then the keyboards and there are applications that are cheaper using the plastic thing, you know. But in general, for small batches, you can use the window thing.
Yeah, I used to see a lot of
Yeah,
EEPROMs.
you can buy this plastic thing in AliExpress for $1.50. This is eBay. eBay is insane the price, no? But you can I don't know you can select the best price, ending sooner, best match, price plus shipping lowest.
Yep,
Okay, this is
$6.
okay, 40. So, this is the price. I bought like 20 of them in Xenia in the hackathon for $10 or something. I pay like 50 cents for each. And you only have 1K in the 48,
Mm-hmm.
and there is the 49 that is 2Ks. 49 search. This is the 49, almost the same price. This is it's cheaper than the price plus shipping. Okay. In AliExpress, they also have it. They sell the programmer. This is an adapter for the programmer, but it's not a programmer. Intel. I don't see any.
Hmm.
We will remove the Intel thing. Microcontroller. No, none.
AliExpress is not cooperating with you today.
No. Okay. This is, I told you, 80 is the same. 80, 40, 41 is the same family. No. Uh, P, 87, 48. Sorry.
Mm.
No. Mhm.
AliExpress started doing that to me. I had seen something, I didn't get it, and then I went back to try to find it and could not find it. It's
Yeah.
just
Did you use the C6, ESP32 C6?
I have some.
But I don't remember if Arduino is supporting it now.
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Last time I tried, wasn't supporting it.
Yeah,
Well,
you
was
gotta
supporting, but with problems.
you've gotta update the to the latest thing,
Okay,
but
I will try it.
yeah.
I
Um
I I bought my orders. I am waiting for this thing, ESP32 with an OLED.
I've got a few of those too.
I'm waiting for it to try the OLED, the tiny OLED. And
I will I'll
I
have to
also bought this from this 32
hmm
ESP32 33. This is really cheap, two bucks.
I will have
Mm.
to I'll have to email you the the sketches for the OLED that I got working. Um
Okay, great.
that the uh, the panel seems like it's a little off. Um its offset is in a strange spot.
Okay, it's like a section of another
Yes.
bigger panel,
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The driver used only one section of the image, and you need to figure out which
Yes.
area it is. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that I have figured it out mostly. It might be off a little bit, but I think it's mostly right
Yeah. I like it
because of
to
course,
yeah.
they don't document that stuff. It's cheap. They're not going to tell
Yeah,
you how
yeah.
to make it work.
Yeah. But I want to see some values of something I want to do and see the value he is measuring.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Just to see a number will be okay for me.
I There was another one that I think it was a Raspberry Pi 2040, but it
Yes,
had
in this format,
in that
very tiny.
format,
Yeah, yeah.
and it had 25 neopixels on it, I think.
Pi Pico, right?
Yeah. And amazingly enough, I just uploaded a sketch for a different device to it and it worked without a problem. So,
Yeah, I think they are working very good. They have the new microcontroller, the new Pi Micro, but they have some problems, I think, with the hardware or
yeah,
uh,
I think they must have gotten most of those worked out because people are selling them. The 2050s.
this is a Raspberry Pi
Hmm.
2040. You see,
Yep.
really tiny.
See, I still haven't found anything good to do with mine. I know there's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. I just haven't found anything good to do with it.
OLED. Mm, Here, this is the one with OLED. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that's the C. Huh. Maybe the C3
This is
and the
C3.
Pico.
This is the
That's the Pico.
yeah,
Huh.
they have the same size. This is the second one. This is the RP24 version.
Hmm.
I was.
Well,
Oh,
I've got,
this is a NeoPixel here in the corner.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
I think mine are C3s with the tiny OLED on them. I don't know. I
Mm,
guess I'll need to dig those out. I know I got them working. I know I figured out drivers and all that stuff. So there was a library written a long time ago called Tiny LED or Tiny OLED. And I think that was
look
what
at
I
the
ended
size
up
of
using.
this. Mhm.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah. This is a C3, I think, for the antenna, right?
Yes, I think that's the C3 because it doesn't have the NeoPixel.
Yeah. This is the RP24. And what is this connector? I2C?
That is, yes,
The I2C of
that's,
Adafruit and
yes,
Parfum,
yep. It's that,
the
whatever they're,
tiny thing. Yeah.
yeah, that we don't like.
Yeah. I remember. Too tiny. And maybe useful for some projects.
That's the one, that's the connector where everything's 3 volts. And if you try to plug something in that's 5 volts, you'll blow something up or do bad things.
Mhm.
So they need to, you need a down converter or an up converter or,
Wow, look at this. This is with no different. This has a matrix of neopixel, I think. See,
those are, see, that's,
this is C3,
it
ESP
says it's a
C3,
C3.
and this is the C3 with OLED, and the last one, I don't know, C3FH4. What's the
Huh.
difference?
I am almost positive that my tiny NeoPixel thing was a Raspberry Pi.
Interesting.
I'd much rather have the C3 than the Raspberry Pi.
You can run a MicroPython in this thing.
Yeah, yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've got, I don't know what boxer. I've got a bunch of those. Well, not a bunch. I've got some of those. So
You have some of everything.
I see it. I see it. I gotta have it. It's mine. I need it. I need it. Trying to keep up with Vicente and all his stuff.
No, I buy discrete parts all the time. Transistors, resistors,
Yeah,
capacitors, all kind
yeah.
of stuff.
I'm buying mostly
Mostly,
microcontrollers. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't buy a whole lot of discrete components anymore. I used to, but so
There are watches also. watch development for $21. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah. I wonder who made that. Oh, it's a Raspberry Pi. Okay.
Yeah.
So WaveShare has been making a lot of ESP32 stuff here lately. And it's been relatively inexpensive. And they're selling the stuff on AliExpress, but they're not saying that it's WaveShare devices. It's just got the WaveShare logo on it. It's really interesting. Um, and when I've bought some of that stuff, it looks like it's, you know, that's what it is. It's um legitimate WaveShare stuff.
Look at the price of this thing. This is the open source risk. Look at the price.
75 cents.
Yeah.
The the connector will cost you more than 75 cents.
Yeah.
Don't say, yeah.
Crazy, crazy. It's a single layer components. Really, really tiny.
There's another one right there. Ideal Spark, company
Uh-huh.
I've never really heard of, but that looks an awful lot like TT Go stuff.
Okay.
And it works like TT Go stuff, but it says Ideal Spark.
Or cheaper.
It's cheaper, yeah. A lot cheaper. I'm looking for the WaveShare. I've got some WaveShare stuff in here somewhere. That's not it.
Mhm.
That that last one
I think I have one of those. I never use it.
that last
Never
one I
tried.
just showed you, that's another one where the panel is off, that it's a partial panel that they don't really tell you what the offset is, but sure enough, there it is. I mean,
You need to try different values until you see the. Uh-huh. Is it round corners?
yeah, and the panel it's a partial panel,
Yeah.
but I figured out mostly what that is. That was easy enough because I had been messing with the round displays for a
Okay.
while. So,
Yes. Okay.
uh,
For eyes of your robots.
yep. Where is this? Oh, yep. Here we go. What is this? This is, I can't see it. My eyes. My eyes. This has to be the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, this is a Raspberry Pi. There's teeny tiny NeoPixels.
Wow. Yes. That's the one.
Raspberry Pi. Lily Go
Wow.
USB connector.
Mm-hmm.
Micro. It's a little stick. It's got a micro SD card reader in
Wow.
there. That is one of the coolest.
What micro?
ESP32. I think it's a 30.
Tiny.
Oh, it's an S. It's an S. No, I can't see it.
Speed.
I am blind. It's an S3.
Okay. S3 is a single core, I think. Single core ESP32.
So this Raspberry Pi Pico with the NeoPixels, I am fairly sure I just loaded up the M5 stack
Uh-huh.
matrix code on those, and
And
it
works.
worked with no problem. I
Okay.
might have changed the pin where for the NeoPixels, but I don't see my tiny OLEDs. Got these weird things. These are C3s, and these work with the Arduino IDE.
It's C3.
Yep,
And the screen is OLED or is
yep.
a
Oh, it's not an OLED. It's a color TFT. Let's see if I got something loaded on this. And yeah, it's just doing the demo. The Adafruit GFX
is
demo.
uh how you call it, a screen, a plug-in board. It's
Yes,
a
a hat
back, yeah, a
or a
hat or
shield or
a shield or something. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Mhm.
and
And
if I remember right, this thing was dirt cheap. Like the microcontroller was like a couple of bucks, and the shield was like a couple of bucks. It was dirt cheap, but it's a no name. There's no name on it. You don't have any idea what you were getting
okay.
or anything
Who to blame?
or who to blame. Yeah. It's yeah, it's one of those. It's here you go, figure it out. We'll tell you a little bit about it. At least they told you what driver it was. I think it's using the same display driver as the round displays,
I
which
think
made it easy
I will
enough.
have mine in a couple of days. The ESP32 C3 with the tiny OLED screen.
I've got them. I'm just not sure which box they're in.
Hmm.
I know I've got them. I got all that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But um okay. January 2nd, we're in person at Midpoint.
At that point, the next week.
Yes, next week. Because
Great.
we're going on
Please
7 o'clock.
bring a robot.
I will do something. I'll do something.
Any robot.
Um, I'll bring my large language model remote
Okay.
control.
Okay.
We'll talk to my robot.
Okay.
I will
Uh
bring my Arduino Nano speaking, driving a speaker
oh, cool. Cool.
with a couple of resistors counting from 10 to 0.
Does it sound like an old TI?
No, it's a PWM sound. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Um but Patty's going to walk in the store in a couple seconds with food. I can just feel it. I can feel it in my bones. So,
Well, nice to see you guys.
Yes,
yes.
nice to see you.
Yes, we
See you next year.
Yeah, see you next year.
Happy
Bye.
New Year.
Have a nice
Happy New Year.
We'll see you all
festivities.
later.
Yeah, see you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.